2019 was a dominating year for Disney products, with 7 movies crossing the 1 billion mark and full of record-breaking movies. Here are the top 10 movies that made up the list. This may be considered unsuccessful comparing its predecessors in the franchise, but still the movie has made up the top 10 in the 2019. And interestingly, at the moment, Hobbs and Shaw has the lowest domestic gross for any Hollywood release, which has earned over $700 million worldwide. Although it released at the end of the 2019, they already made the top 10 list. Biggest question mark for the ninth episode of the historic franchise is that they will ever reach the 2 billion mark as the first movie of the trilogy Force Awakens has reached. Disney's live-action Aladdin remake enjoyed a shining box office run, earning $355 million domestically and over $1 billion worldwide. In terms of domestic box office, among Disney remakes, that puts it only behind Lion King, Beauty and the Beast and The Jungle Book. The Disney remakes to hit the theaters in 2019 grossed a combined total of over $5 billion, evincing an audience interest that the studio has to hope will not run out anytime soon. To think that director Todd Phillips' R-rated Joker was at point considered a risky bet by Warner Brothers. However, the final result drew audience praise and delivered the studio's biggest box office hit of 2019. The film, focusing on the origins of the legendary villain from the DC Universe, also became the highest-grossing R-rated movie of all time, taking the top spot from the Deadpool 2. And now the only question comes to mind is that the Warner Brothers will be inspired by this success in order to make similar adult-oriented films in the coming years. Toy Story 4 earned the franchise best $434 million in North America, and dethroned 1994's animated Lion King to become the highest-grossing G-rated movie of all time. The fourth film of the franchise grossed $640 million overseas to cross the 1 billion mark worldwide. A bad performance in China was compensated by strong showings in key foreign markets like Japan, United Kingdom and Mexico. Brie Larson's Carol Danvers made her debut in the MCU as the universe's first headlining female superhero in 2019's Captain Marvel, outgrossing DC's Wonder Woman around the world and at home, and became the 7th MCU film to reach $1 billion mark at the box office globally. No wonder Disney and Sony made things up. The 2019 Spider-Man Far From Home, which might have been the end of their association, but luckily it won't be. Its $1.1 billion worldwide numbers is enough to make it the Sony's highest-grossing film ever, and the highest-grossing Spider-Man film of all time. When you think of the global success of the first movie, it's no surprise that its sequel went on to become the highest-grossing Walt Disney Animation Studios release of all time, by grossing over $430 million domestically. The sequel's earnings moved into the new decade due to its November 22nd release. In its fourth weekend of release, it became Disney's sixth billion-dollar film of 2019. The film's success made sense given that the 1994 original at the time was one of the studio's most successful films, and director Jon Favreau's CGI-fueled version traced it for a new generation. Of all the films Disney remakes that have hit the theaters since Alice, Lion King is by far the highest grosser, both domestically and worldwide. It opened strong in China with nearly $100 million in its first week and crossed the billion-dollar mark after 19 days. The film is one of two 2019 releases to take spot in the top 10 highest-grossing opening weekends of all time. The journey that began in 2008 with Iron Man was coming to an end, at least for some of the characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With the advantage of becoming the grand finale of the 21 movies long universe, Avengers Endgame struck hard at the box office. One by one the records fell and the people starting to wonder whether it became the highest grossing movie of all time. But in the end, it may not have been able to catch The Force Awakens for the all-time domestic leader. But by the time summer was over, it will pull in front of Avatar and become the king of the world.